Welcome back to Aurora Tech Channel. If you've watched my previous videos, I reviewed the Ender-5 Pro and did some hardware and firmware upgrades on it. I've been using it for 7 to 8 months and it prints very well. If you have an Ender-5, Ender-5 Pro, or an Ender-5 Plus, you should also be quite happy with the print quality. Earlier this year, Creality launched the Ender-6, which is their first CoreXY printer. As you can see, the Ender-6 is a CoreXY Ender-5 with an enclosure, but I think the rubber pulley wheel motion system could be improved. When you want to go CoreXY, you definitely don't want the same rubber wheels which are used on the CR10, Ender-5, Ender-3, and most budget 3D printers. For CoreXY, it will work better with linear rails. I think many users also gave the same feedback to Creality, so a few months later, they launched the Ender-7, a CoreXY printer with linear rails. It also came with some other improvements, like a more rigid frame, upgraded stepper motors, a dual-gear extruder, and a newly designed hotend. It seems like it has a really nice hardware configuration. But as an Ender-5 Pro owner, I was wondering if I could just spend around $100 to $150 and upgrade my Ender-5 Pro to a CoreXY with linear rails instead of spending another $730 to buy a new Ender-7. In this video, I will try to do that and share my design. The 3D drawing is downloadable and I hope it'll be helpful to you to understand the project and to assemble the parts. I also included all the STL files for you to 3D print the parts that you need for this upgrade, and the full list of the items you need to buy. I will try to spend as little money as possible, so most of the Ender-5 parts will be reused. If everything goes well and works as expected, we may also add more upgrades. Let's see what basic items we need to buy and how much they will cost. 1. Linear rails. The rails we chose are MG-N12, which is 12 mm in width. The slider block we will choose is MG-N12H, which is slightly longer than the standard MG-N12C block. We need two 350 mm ones for the y-axis and one 400 mm one for the x-axis. The price for all three rails will be $65. This is the most expensive part in this upgrade. 2. A stepper motor mount. As we will reuse all stepper motors, we only need 2 mounts to relocate them. The price of each steel motor mount will be $2.50, so it will cost $5. 3. Some GT2 timing pulley wheels. In this CoreXY design, we need 2 types of wheels. The first is wheels with teeth, which we need 12 of. The second is the idler wheel, which we need 6 of. They would cost about $20. 4. A timing belt. We will buy a row of 5 meters and cut it into half for the X and Y axis. It will cost $9. These are the 4 items we need, and they would cost around $100. Of course, you may need to spend a bit more, as the motor mounts are sold in packs of 6 and the wheels are sold in packs of 5 or 10, so you will actually get more than you need. We also need some screws, nuts, and washers. If you have been playing around with 3D printers for a while, you may have some spare ones. They are mainly M3 and M5 screws and some T-nuts. I also included a list in the description. If you don't have some of them or any of them, I included links below for you to buy them. Okay, I will show you the design in Fusion 360, but you don't actually have to know how to use Fusion 360 at all, as the design is already complete. All you need to do is download the file and open it in Fusion 360 as a reference when you assemble the items. The items we will reuse from the Ender-5 Pro are the 20x20 aluminum extrusions, the stepper motors, the extruder, and the hotend. I will also change it to a direct drive instead of a Bowden tube extruder. First, we will put the 350 mm linear rails on the extrusion for the y-axis and fix each of them using 6 to 8 M3x8 mm screws and T-nuts. you don't have to put a screw in every hole. As we also want to fix the 400mm x-axis linear rail on the y-axis, we need to print a mount for it. These two sets of mounts are identical. You just need to flip it over and it will fit both the left and the right side. Fix them to the slider block using M3 by 20mm screws. After that, we can mount the X carriage, which includes 3 printed parts, the front and back plate, and the middle mount to mount on the slider block. As you can see, I put different colors on different screws, so you can easily use the color code to get the correct screws. Use 2 M3 by 45mm long screws to fix them together. To make it more secure, I will add 4 35mm M3 spacers and fix them with 8 M3 by 8mm screws. The extruder, stepper motors, and the hot end are also fixed on the front plate. You can refer to the color code to get the correct screws. To make it less complicated, I will use the stock extruder and the hot end. If you want to change them to better hot ends and extruders in the future, just slightly modifying the X front plate will be fine. Next, we will put the GT2 wheels on the corners and the back of the frame. I've designed some 3D printed blocks to raise them to the same level. You need to put some screws, spacers, and washers to maintain the same height on each wheel. There are 2 levels. The high wheels are for the X-axis belt, and the low wheels are for the Y-axis belt. I will choose this corner as an example to explain how it works. Let's pick this bottom left corner. As you can see, the block is fixed by an M5 by 60mm long screw. At the bottom, you need a 10mm spacer, a 0.5mm washer, and a wheel with teeth. The wheels with teeth are in light gray, and the idler wheels are in dark gray. You can zoom in to see the color to pick the correct parts. After you have put all 8 blocks with their screws, spacers, and washers to the correct positions, we can install the belt. We need to cut the 5-meter belt in half, so we have one for the X and one for the Y. The X belt will use all the upper wheels. First, we will start from the left side of the back plate and lock it with a zip tie. The flat side should go around this idler wheel, and then the side with teeth will go around this corner. Go a long way to the opposite corner, go around the stepper motor, and use this idler wheel to go around to the top right corner. Finally, reach this side wheel and lock it back on the back plate with a zip tie. The Y belt would be the exact same, just use all the lower wheels to route it. Okay, the frame is now complete. I have included the step files in the description for you to download. You can import it to SolidWorks or Fusion 360. If you have no idea how to use any of these programs, I have also shared a browser-based link so you can just click on it to play around with the 3D drawing to get a better understanding of how it works. For the STL files, download and unzip them, and you will see a few files. You can print them one by one or open Print All files. I've arranged the angles so you don't need any support to print it. For all the parts except the front plate, you can use any filament to print them. Printing with PLA should be easy enough. For the print settings, use 0.2 layer height and 100% infill. You can reduce the infill to at least 50% if you want, but I would go with 100% to make it more rigid. For the X front plate, which holds the hot end, I would suggest using PETG or ASA, as we need some higher temperature resisting material. For me, I used ASA for the X carriage and PETG for the rest, all with 100% infill, and it took around 18 hours. The only thing you may get a little confused on when assembling the 3D printed parts is that I made the screw hole of the corner block have threads, so you need some force to tighten the M5 by 60mm screws. Besides this, the 3D printed parts should fit pretty nicely. After the assembly is done, we can test the motion system. If I move one motor, it will move 45 degrees to the corner. If I move it to the other direction, it will go the opposite direction. The same applies to the other motor. If you turn both motors in the same direction, it will move left and right. If you turn them in the opposite direction, it will move up and down. So it seems that all parts in this frame are in the right place. I was supposed to put these directly on the Ender-5 Pro, but I just made another aluminum top frame so I could work with this design a little better. And it's also easier to show it in front of the camera as it looks exactly like the 3D drawings. I will make 1 or 2 more videos to put all this on the Ender-5 Pro and configure the Marlin firmware. As the stock firmware is for Cartesian-style printers, I will configure it to work as a CoreXY, and we're going to find out if this low-cost CoreXY Linear Rails DIY upgrade really works. That's it for this video. If you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. My brother and I make a new video every weekend, so check out my channel on Mondays and you'll see something new. See you next week.